The bench hook, low tech but super useful. Really nice for holding small parts, odd shaped parts like a dowel. You can cut right through things safely, no noise, no power tool needed, and no clamping or anything like that. I've had one for a while. Mine's getting kind of chewed up, so we'll show it here in a second. Yeah, it's got a bunch of cuts on it, so I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to use the Shaper Origin CNC router, my highest tech tool, to put a little embellishment on my bench hook. Free plans for a bench hook, whoopee. Here's the material list. You can do a screenshot. Here's what it looks like. It's just 3 pieces of wood stuck together. The first order of business is to make a 6-inch rip cut. I like using these Jessam stock guides for rip cuts. They've got these little wheels that hold the stock right up to the fence. I don't understand why it's rare to see a blade guard used in a YouTube video, but I use mine whenever I can. Next up is to cross-cut the 2-inch pieces for the hook and the fence. Here I'm using a sled and just a zero clearance on there just to hold it more securely, frankly, so I can't use the blade guard in that situation. You don't have to be super careful making a bench hook, but you do want to have a square corner, and that corner is going to be where your workpiece and saw reference off of. So I've checked that one, it's square. I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick this down to the Shaper Origin workstation, and then I will be able to engrave my ruler in the proper orientation. The Shaper Origin is a CNC router, so to do anything on it, you've got to have a computer file that tells it what you want to cut. So I've already got that loaded onto the Shaper Origin. It just loads via Wi-Fi. It's really easy. So once I have the piece all set up, the next step is you scan so the shaper can orient itself using those, kind of domino-looking little black and white squares on the workstation surface. The next step after scanning is to do what's called a grid. I didn't record myself doing it, but I'll explain. You lower the router bit and use it to tap a couple of spots on the front side and then one spot on the other side. That sets up a grid where the 0, on the XY axis is right on the corner, and then you just drop your computer file right into that spot. It's perfectly aligned with the workpiece. I'm going to show a few cuts in real time. Once the computer file is on there, you line up the router over where you want to cut, push a button that lowers the router bit, make the cut, get to the end of it, raise it up, move to the next one, lower it, make the cut, and so on. When I engraved the lines, I had to move the tool a bit. When I engrave the numbers, I don't even have to move the tool. They're so small that the spindle just moves around and does those engravings on its own while I just hold the tool still. Again, this is in real time to cut one of the numbers. And here it is, all engraved. The next thing I'm going to do is flip the piece up on its edge and engrave the part of the lines that wrap around the edge. So this is after doing that. I'll just show what the final product looked like. They wrap around and make a nice, clean and accurate line. It's all over but the glue and nails, so pretty simple how these things go together. I'm just, about to put the hook on the bottom side, just using the other piece to hold it level temporarily. A couple of nails and some screws go in there. This is obviously speeded up. and then the face of it, the fence of it, actually has to get oriented over on the left side of the bench hook. Since I'm right-handed, that'll leave room for the saw to fit in and cut, right along that fence line. You can use a stop block. Here I use a spring clamp as a stop block to make repeated cuts with the bench hook. I think if you had a whole lot of repeated cuts, you'd probably want to use a power tool instead. So, the bench hook I think is best where there's just a few pieces, or they're really small pieces, and it's maybe a little bit safer than using a power tool to cut those. So I make no claim to be an expert sawyer. You'll see the saw jumps around a little bit here starting this cut. That's unfortunately kind of typical for me. But still, having that nice straight fence on the bench hook makes it pretty easy even for an inexpert sawyer to get a pretty good cut. That's it for the workshop improvement of the week. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll have another video every week. Thanks very much. Bye.